Welcome to the Sellernomics podcast. In today's episode, we'll be featuring one of the many great tools and software available to Amazon sellers to help you grow your FBA business. A special thank you to our sponsor, GETIDA, the global leader in FBA auditing and reimbursements. Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at getida.com/Sellernomics. Now it's time to show us what you got with your hosts, Rob Stanley and Lisa Kinski.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Show Us What You Got. My name is Lisa Kinski. I'm joined by Rob Stanley. We've got another good one for you today.
This is a great one. First of all, two really good friends of mine. Best tool I've ever used in marketing also. Besides, we can use it in Amazon. And today we've got PickFu and Chen. Bring them into the studio. We're going to be talking about how to optimize your Amazon products using PickFu insights. What's up, Justin? How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. So let's just jump straight into it. I think people are pretty familiar with what PickFu does, but we want to see the tool in action. So it's time to show us what you got.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm just going to do a demo walkthrough of the PickFu platform today. Feel free to ask questions. Rob and Lisa, definitely chime in wherever you want.
I'll be asking questions because this is my favorite tool. So.
Yeah, I definitely want to highlight some new things that we've released recently. But just take a step back. Let me talk a little bit about what PickFu is. PickFu is a self-service consumer research platform. So we're trying to make the best practices of enterprise consumer research accessible to anyone. So we're trying to make it easy to use, fast, and of really high quality. You could think of it as a digital focus group that you could use to get feedback on all aspects of your product development process, from concept and design to sourcing decisions, branding and packaging, and then all the way down to your marketing assets like main images, secondary images, titles, descriptions, A+ content, even pre-testing Facebook ads or YouTube thumbnails, as Rob has done with PickFu. So really, you can use it for anything. As you can see on our homepage, we've been used by a lot of large brands, including all the top aggregators, a lot of top e-commerce sellers on Amazon. The format is pretty simple. It's a single question where you can put up 1 to 8 different options. And we do this so that it's very simple to set up. It takes less than a minute to set up a poll. And we immediately go out and find people and pay them a stipend to respond. So all of these people are required to agree to a non-disclosure agreement. And we spend a lot of effort vetting the quality with both machine learning and human curation. So really trying to drive that quality of the responses up. And so what's great is that these responses come back in a matter of minutes, with most polls being done under an hour. And we're going to try to showcase that with the live demo soon. And that's a big difference from traditional consumer research, which typically took weeks, days and weeks, sometimes even months when you're working with a market research consultant. Let's see, some other things I wanted to highlight. Pricing is pay as you go. So the dollar starts at $1 per response, goes as low as 15 responses now. That's a new development. It used to be 50. We brought that down to not only have a more accessible entry point, but also to encourage more frequent iterative testing. And we found that a lot of our more successful customers test more frequently as opposed to just testing at the very end. So that's a behavior that we're trying to drive there.
This is how you know you made it, when you have Mike Jackness giving you a quote from Ecom Crew. That's how you know you made it. That guy's awesome.
Yeah,
shout out to
awesome.
Mike. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm just going to hop into a couple of live polls. Let's see.
While you're doing that, just kind of give us a quick idea of some of the different categories you guys can do polls for. I know you'll probably jump in that in a minute, but.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll talk about a few of these.
Cool.
So we really recommend people start from the very beginning of their product process. So this might be idea validation. We've actually seen people do just text, like, hey, if you're a mom with young kids, do you ever have this issue? And would you buy this thing that I'm offering for $30, whatever it is? And so testing out concepts very early. This is a 3D render. So testing out 3D renders. The beautiful part about PickFu is it's off platform, so you can test things that don't exist yet. And that's what we encourage you to do, is actually testing these hypothetical things, product concepts. Maybe you're working you're trying to decide on Alibaba which product to source, and you want to see like which teapot, like put them up, see which ones people like, maybe put them up against the competitors that are already selling on Amazon, and see how it might perform. So that's how we recommend you use PickFu in the very beginning, is really early on the product concept, product design, variations, like color variations. A lot of times people don't know how many blue, how many red, how many yellow to stock up, and they're just kind of guessing. Well, you could at least run a test of different, I think I have one here, different color variations. And then at least you'll get a sense of like, all right, well, I suck with colors, but option A's color is more popular than, what is that? The red one, that's option D. So like maybe you skew the order a little bit in that direction, maybe, or you just order one of them, right? And because you're probably going to sell out. So we actually had a customer at one of the conferences come up to us and say that he was selling diaries or journals, and said that he ran a PickFu poll, couldn't decide on the color. He just picked the winning one and, sold out immediately. So this kind of data can really save money, right? Because you're not sitting on unsold inventory, and you're just de-risking all of your decisions. So that's these are the most important decisions to make. Here's one that's popular. This kind of poll where maybe your product is, a lot of different designs, right? So maybe it's these pickleball paddles, could be quilts, like t-shirts, sweaters, right? The designs are almost infinite that you could put up, but you obviously are not going to print and stock every single design. You want to get feedback on it. So this is where PickFu really shines, because what usually happens is that people know us for optimizing main images, and that's great. But usually what happens is they run a PickFu test, and the feedback isn't so much about the image. The feedback is, well, your product kind of sucks, right? And that's really horrible feedback to get at that stage, right? Because you already have all that inventory in Amazon. You got to find a way to move it, but like people just can't get over like how bad your product is, or your branding, or your packaging, and it just pales in comparison to your competitors. And if you had just gotten this feedback earlier in the process, instead of asking your coworkers or your friends and family, you might be in a better situation. So that's why we really try to get people to test earlier in the process. And obviously, like, people aren't going to do that, but learn your lesson in your first product, then come back and test earlier.
Sure. I see at the top of this pickleball paddle poll, wow, that's a lot of P's, that the audience is 100 US based respondents, and obviously consumers in different areas have different preferences. Are you able to crowdsource from international respondents as well?
Yes, we are. Actually, I was going to show that off. So let me continue with the demo. Good question though, Rob. I'm going to do a few. So the first thing that I want to show off is we have these new combos. I'm going to show it in all the different ways, but let's show it as the normal poll builder. So this is the poll builder as it stands now, and it's pretty flexible in what you can do. And so you basically choose what you're trying to do. Maybe it's open-ended feedback, or you want to run a 2-option head-to-head. Maybe you want to rank 8 different options. What I'm going to do today for this one is I'm going to get open-ended feedback, and I'm going to show you the international audience, actually. So I don't know why.
So Lisa, real quick, why Justin's setting this up for this poll. Justin doesn't know yet, but by the end of this year, I actually have a book coming out, and it's going to be regarding YouTube. And one of the sections in there, one of the chapters in there, is going to be about the polls I ran using thumbnails, doing a thumbnail analysis, A/B testing, and what I learned from it. And let me tell you, it was really crazy the amount I learned and what I learned from doing something like that allowed me to kind of adjust all the thumbnails I create now because of what I learned from the feedback I got. But go ahead, Justin.
Cool. So I'm going to do an open-ended question. I'm just going to say, if you were searching for an infusion teapot, how interested would you be in this product? And I'm just looking for open-ended feedback on what they might say about this random teapot. Totally random. It's not my teapot. For some reason, every presentation I've been doing lately, I've been using teapots for it. It's just bizarre. So this is new. We used to be just US only, but we recently, probably a month or two ago, opened up Australia, Canada, Germany, and the UK based off customer feedback. So this is a huge development and really helpful for people who are looking to expand their product sales into a new market, or maybe they're actually German sellers and they need to get feedback from their German audience, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose Germany. What's actually cool, if it happens. Oh, all right. See, there it goes. You're targeting a German-speaking audience, so we translated your question. So I don't speak German. I assume that this is pretty good, and you'll see that it's translated up here as well. If you don't like it, what you can do is you can actually copy this if you're German-speaking, or send it to your colleague. And then if you were to pop it into here, we won't auto-translate it because we know that it's German. So however you want to do it, type it in whatever language that you want, and we'll make sure that it's in the appropriate language of where we're going. So right now that's just
cool.
Germany. Yeah, so I'm going to keep this one pretty simple, and I'll just kick off this German one. I don't know if we need 50 people because we're just demoing.
So tell everybody again, what was the question we're asking for this teapot?
If you were searching for an infusion teapot, how interested would you be in this product?
Perfect. All right.
Just see what they say about it. I don't know.
So we're targeting German audience with that question.
Yeah.
And we're looking for how interested would they be in purchasing this?
Yeah.
So is that going to come up? And I know you'll show it, but is it kind of like a yes, no? And then we're going to get to also see what they say about it.
Actually, let's do it a star rating.
Star rating. Okay. There we go.
How about we say on a scale of 1 to 5, how likely, let's see, if you were searching. Now I'm like mangling the question I was going to do.
Oh, you're all good. So Lisa, another thing I'm going to be doing when I do my book for the YouTube is they actually do have a poll that you can do if you write books, either ebooks or whatever. You can do polling on the front designs of the book.
Nice.
So that I'm going to be using that also, and I'll probably reference it in the book also.
So let's kick this one off, and we'll start collecting some responses.
It happens quick. Let me tell you, so just for everybody else out there, so my wife actually started a podcast, and she came up with 2 names, and she couldn't decide between the 2 names. So I said, well, do you have a description of the podcast? And she said, yes. And I said, well, let's take the 2 names, put up the description, and ask everybody which of these 2 names fits this description the best. And you know what? I would say within 15 to 18 minutes, and probably varies, but with 15 to 18 minutes, we had all 50 replies, and there was a clear winner on the name. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely business names, company names, logos. That's our bread and butter. I mean, and that applies to any business, not just Amazon. I mean, our own logo, actually, what we did is we went to 99 Designs, just asked for a bunch of, logos from the crowd, and then we used PickFu to choose which one. And so we dog fooded all the time, and logos, marketing creatives, all that kind of stuff. So I just showed you the poll builder, which is a very flexible. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. But what we also released recently are these combos, and this makes it a little bit easier. It fixes the price. It gives you a suggested question, and it gives you some targeting as well, just so that people who aren't sure about how they want to run the poll, like, just have a fewer decisions to make. So if we were to do a Amazon page review, which is another open-ended one, this one has this question: please visit this Amazon listing. What questions do you have after viewing this listing? I'm going to take that same teapot. Sorry to keep picking on this guy.
Hey, they're getting free reviews here and free information.
So I'm actually going to select tea drinkers in this case, because that's included, and also Prime subscribers. So you'll see that the cost has not changed, $79. So this just makes it a lot easier to run a poll. There's a lot less decisions to make, and that one's already off and running. And yeah, I was going to show one other poll. Let me see.
And Justin, when you do like another poll, if it's possible, kind of show there's a lot of variables that people might be like, well, I want to target women over a certain age, maybe a certain they make a certain amount of money household wise. Like if I remember, and I'm trying to rattle these off, remembering them when I did my polls, but even groups, right? Like if they're an online seller, or maybe they're in a specific niche or something. So yeah, kind of go through those.
So this other thing that we have is this mockup generator. Something that we saw a lot of our customers, more advanced customers, doing was creating these mockups. where they were taking the images, adjusting titles, adjusting ratings, price, all that kind of stuff. And they were doing it in Photoshop or using, Chrome inspection, all that kind of stuff. When we told our customers to do it, a lot of customers obviously don't know how to do that kind of stuff. So we decided to build a mockup tool generator. So I'm just going to I'm still on the Infusion Teapots kick here. So let's make this like.
Explain exactly what just happened. So you picked the teapot.
Yeah.
And then it up other designs of it or put it up against others?
So what it did was I just searched for Infusion Teapots and it just did an Amazon search. It grabbed like the top ones. What you could also do is you could pop an ASIN. And so I think this is the one that I was testing before. Yeah, different, right? So which one am I? I think this is, I forget which one. They all look the same.
Two of those look almost identical.
Yeah,
slightly
probably the same sourcer. Yeah, so you can go by keyword, you can go by ASIN, you can decide which ones you want. And then what you can do is you can just go in and edit it. If you want to change the title, maybe you're experimenting with titles, or you want to change the image because maybe this is your listing. You want to try a different image to see if it's going to affect your click-through rates. And kind of the point of doing these things is that
I like the pricing. So you could test pricing too, right?
Yeah. So what's actually really cool is, for example, let's just say that these guys have like, I don't know, 2,000 reviews, right? And this guy, or you could also normalize it. Let's just say they all have 2,000 5 stars.
Yeah.
But we only have like 10 reviews, like 4.5 stars. All right. So what you can do, which is really fun, is run a few of these polls at different price points to see how you can chip away, right? And I've done this. I did this in a different presentation, and it totally does change, right? Like people are like, well, and we'll try it here. Like, let's see, about 15.
Go lowest. Go 14, 15.99. Let's see what happens. Yeah,
that's pretty good. All right. Sorry, my dog's going crazy.
Your dog's getting involved in this.
Yeah. So let's just pop this over to the poll builder, and then we'll talk about like the different options you were talking about.
Absolutely.
So this is actually pulling in all those images that we generated. We can keep it to 50, and let's go into, so we could say like, let's do age range, and let's say like that's our target demo.
Come on, the old people are definitely drinking tea. You should have included them.
Yeah, all right.
I'm just teasing.
Here, we'll get rid of the young people.
There you go.
And I think we already tea's already selected here because the last time. All right, so like this is all the. It's a lot of things. I don't know if this one will finish in time, but we can give it a try.
Let's do it.
Let's give it a try. So the other thing you can do is, aside from targeting, you can also just ask things like, I want to know if they're a pet owner. I want to know their relationship status. Like, what's their education level? Like, do they have cryptocurrency?
Because we're looking for somebody who drinks tea that has a pet, because maybe the tea's for a pet, and they're mining their own crypto. This is a great combo there, Justin.
Well, so we're only restricting the audience to these, right? So it's going to be female Amazon Prime members between a certain age range who drink tea. But what we're going to do is we're going to ask them all these other questions about
bonus questions.
Yeah. So what you can do is segment the data afterwards.
Okay, I was gonna say it's to determine if they also need to come out with a mug that says, "Sorry, I can't come. My dog and I are mining bitcoins."
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's gonna show up on Amazon Watch. Lisa just
for sure. I bet it's already there.
It's gonna make $1 million. Lisa's gonna be like, I'm the one that said that first.
I know. I keep giving away good ideas. I gotta stop doing that.
All right, Justin, keep going.
All right, this is a fatty poll, so let's see what happens with this one.
Let's loop back around to our first one. Our first one probably already has some answers.
I don't know. What time it is in Germany? Shoot. I
guess you got to think about that.
Yeah.
There you go. There, you need to let the dev team know that you need to have some sort of clock that's telling you the better time to actually
current time. Yeah.
All right. So this one. All right, the dog's going crazy.
The dog wants in on this. Let me tell you.
They can say hi.
All right, so this one's already got 20 responses. This was the
nice.
the combo asking about the Amazon listing, and so this is always fun because it surfaces questions that maybe you haven't thought about, or maybe you thought you were addressing, but just aren't being addressed well enough on your listing.
Yeah.
So temperature safety, cleaning solutions, all really important things. So this, you can go through this and maybe just come up with a list and say like, all right, maybe I need to add it to my bullets. Maybe I need a secondary image that kind of emphasizes it. Let me see if there's another one okay, this one's still running. I'm gonna run one more because I had queued up another one.
All right.
This is an interesting use case for PickFu, which is quality control. So like, if you think about, we're as marketers, like we're constantly putting stuff out there. And a lot of times what you'll probably do is like, you'll probably send it in Slack or something to your team, like, hey, does this read okay or whatever.
Yep.
Well, you could also just do a 15 response poll and just sanity check it. And we've all seen listings where like, my God, did anyone look at this thing? And
Yes.
not to keep picking on this teapot, but I chose one of their secondary images, and I just grabbed one of their secondary images. So I'm gonna run this question about, look at this image, check for typos, errors, confusing content. This is actual. You can go see it on their listing.
What I see a lot, Justin, is not to pick on them either, but a lot of times Chinese sellers will use auto translate or Google Translate, and it doesn't translate perfectly. Just like, I expect if I'm translating something to Spanish, I don't know how to read it necessarily. I assume it's 90 some percent, right? Yeah. But, so maybe this is something they could be doing to maybe help.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think using our human respondents are the perfect pairing to any kind of like auto translation, even AI generation. So a lot of things that we do is like, now that there's ChatGPT and we're like generating things like maybe copy or whatever it is, you still want to know if it's going to resonate well or if it sounds weird or not. You can take those generations of maybe like titles or whatever it is and put it into PickFu and see what the people actually do think about it.
Yeah.
So let's let all of these go now that we've started a bunch of different polls. Yeah. So I talked through these. This was the 3D one. This is names, just kind of like what you're talking about, Rob. Like testing out names is a really common use case.
I like that too. Go back to the name real quick. I love the fact that every name is exactly the same font. Like somebody's not being swayed on the font or something like that. It's like, here's the name. I assume is that a product above that, or just kind of a description?
Maybe it's a logo. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So, but I like the fact that you're just really comparing names, which is great.
I think that, yeah. So you're bringing up a really important best practice, which is to minimize the amount of variation that you have between options that you're putting up, especially if you're testing out like changes, right? Be scientific about it and only change one thing at a time, ideally, so that you know what the causation is. We see too many times where, in the example of books, like you were saying, we'll see authors test a different book cover design and a different book title. And it's like, well, you just changed two completely different factors.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just test the titles by themselves. Like, forget about the cover. Once you've come up with the right title, put them all on different covers, right? Same title, different covers. And now you're going to know, like, why people selected something. So the same applies for, as you're tweaking image layouts, your main image layouts, or your product concepts, on any of these things. So yeah, this one did it right. That's
good to know. I'll make sure for my book title I do that first and then test the cover. So thank you.
Otherwise, I'm going to use you as a bad example. And the same with questions. Like, you want to be as plainly worded and simple as possible. Like, you don't want to introduce bias. You don't want to lead the audience. You don't want to ask like 3 different questions, because like they're really going to answer one of them. So you're not going to get great answers for all of them, right? So this is fine because they're kind of just like giving context, but there really is only one question here.
Well, Lisa, if we switch the Sellernomics logo, which I kind of just made from scratch and threw together, we'll have to test it in PickFu.
Absolutely.
So one other thing I was going to preview to you guys, because as a tidbit, this is not out for anyone yet. and my product
Yes.
is probably going to
Exclusive. Exclusive.
AI highlights.
Oh,
so this is coming soon. This should be dropping in a few days. But you know, we give you so many responses, and especially, you know, you do like 100 responses. Like, how are you going to? It takes time to read through and internalize all of this. So what we've done for you is we've fed them into AI to write a summary. And so now you can just read the summary. It'll kind of synthesize what the main points about option A or option B are, the key takeaways. We also do some sentiment here as well. So like, what do people like about option A? They like the sturdy design, all wood, small shelf on the bottom, dislikes, all that kind of stuff. So just really making it easier to interpret all of the responses that are coming in, because, you know, as good as it is to have all these responses, it's hard to take the time to actually go through and analyze each one.
I like that. That is super cool.
Yeah.
The dog likes it too. So.
Oh man, she's making a ruckus. One other thing I wanted to show you is our examples. This examples gallery is new as well. So, you know, when you're running a poll, I don't know if I showed this, but when you're running a poll, you have the option to get a small discount to make it available to the public. And so all these people a lot of people have opted into allowing their polls to be public. By default, it's always private. I just want to make that clear. But if they've made it public, what we'll do is we'll editorially curate some of the more interesting ones for people to learn from. And so these are examples of real examples, and we'll have a little write-up over here. So, you know, testing font color, super interesting, great example. Rug design, kind of the similar to the other one that we were talking about, where if you're doing prints, you know, you should definitely test out designs. Even just font style. I mean, all these are small decisions, and they all add up to like that final product, right? So we really want to showcase that you want to iterate on all those small decisions that you're probably just making assumptions about. Like, I assume people like serif or sans serif. Well, I don't know. Like, your audience may be different than you or your team, so you should put it out there.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's our example gallery. We'll keep adding to this, and we'll, you know, the nice thing is that we do a little bit of an editorial write-up so that you can read about it and to get some of the takeaways. We highlight some of the responses as well. So this is a nice way to just look for inspiration about different tests to run, because really it's the creativity of our customers where we learn a lot of these best practices from. You know, it's we're very customer driven here, and we're always talking to our customers and trying to understand how they're using like this very general tool that we're putting out to them.
That's cool.
Amazing.
And Justin, real quick question on that. If somebody wants to make theirs public, is it just a button they click, or how do they kind of do that?
I'll go,
because I'm thinking when I do some of my polls, I want to make them public, because obviously I'm going to publish it anyways and make you guys, you know, promote you guys and stuff. So it would be cool to have it on the website too.
So there's a checkbox down here.
Okay.
Add your poll to the PickFu online gallery, save $5. So just look for that. Yeah. So it's a nice way for people just getting started to save some money as well.
I like that.
Cool.
All right, let's see some results.
Hey, there's two Germans awake.
Nice.
Okay, so they like the design, 4 stars each. We can see what the original German responses were. So, you know, we are auto translating, so maybe they're not right. But if you have a German on the team, then they can read it.
Can you convert it back to? Oh, yeah, there was English. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and hey, I've got Chinese enabled on my account, so we also have Chinese translation as well. That's something else I wanted to highlight, is that we do have localization in Chinese and Russian. So if you wanted to use the poll builder in Chinese, you could, and all the different traits and everything, they're all translated into Chinese, and then responses would be auto translated for you back into Chinese.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then you could also see that original German question here that we use. So
that we can all read.
Yeah. Obviously correct. It's obviously correct. At least they didn't comment on the question, right? They didn't say.
Fair point.
Was a weird question.
you need to run a poll on the question for spelling.
All right, so this one's almost done. So this one was the tea drinking, Amazon Prime tea drinkers. So that was pretty fast, right? 40 responses already.
What did we go for? 50 or 100 on that one?
That one is for 50.
Okay, so we're getting close then.
All right, let's see what they said about the typos. All right, let's see.
Yep.
They got removable.
Yep.
This one didn't catch it. So three people caught it.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Assembled and assembly respectively should be used instead.
Oh.
Wait, what was it?
This was the cool thing.
Saying like, 18 out of 10.
Easily disassembled. Hand basket type disassembly. It is a little confusing. I mean, it sounds a little weird.
But the removable is, I don't know. That's like flashing red light highlight. It's like
1810 before stainless steel. Where is that? Oh, I see. Oh, I mean, if you're not familiar with steel, I guess that could be confusing. All right, let's see. Did we have another one? Oh, okay. This was the mega one, right? So this was the older women, Prime subscribers, tea drinkers.
Yeah.
With a lower price.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe not low enough.
Not low enough. We should have put it at like $9.99.
Well, my thinking as a tea drinker, I'm not in the age range that we chose, but my thinking is with that glass handle, I feel like that's going to get really hot really fast, and I don't have to want to worry about that. So I'd actually rather go for the electric in these two examples.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just me.
You're too thoughtful about this.
I know.
Well, see, I'm kind of attracted to the image wise of the center one. The fact they're showing it's kind of like cold then hot or something like that. So maybe you could boil water with it too.
Oh, like interesting.
It looks almost like multi-purpose, so to speak, even though the others I sure are. I kind of get that vibe like it's a multi-purpose with the center.
So even though it costs more, like you might be able to do more with it.
Exactly.
Well,
it gives the impression.
It's electric kettle versus like.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
The others are stovetop.
Yeah.
We're not necessarily comparing the right ones together, but that's okay.
No, yeah, but yeah.
But you know what? To be honest, Justin, if you take a look back at those images again, if we take out the center one and just compare the right and the left one that are similar, even the right one is winning a bit more, even though it's a couple dollars more.
Yeah.
So it could also be that it's 1,200 milliliter versus 1,000 milliliter.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors
volume. Yeah, there is.
So
not a teapot specialist.
all those attributes we asked for.
Yes.
So for each of the respondents, you'll see all of those things that we asked for. So education level, income range, coffee drinking. So this is a tea drinker and a coffee drinker. Clearly, they have cryptocurrency. They have a dog, drink liquor, and tea once a week. So a lot.
How many of these have cryptocurrency? I'm curious.
Let's see. Cryptocurrency. 6.
Oh, wow. Out of how many did we have? How many responses? I couldn't quite see it.
6 out of 16.
Wow.
Oh, well.
That's pretty interesting.
Cryptocurrencies and NFTs. Yeah.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7. Yeah.
7.
Yeah. So you could always slice and dice the data with this. And then if you go to this side, this is where you could see if look for any differences. So like education level, maybe we're seeing a discrepancy with people with a bachelor's degree liking, let's see, option B more. Maybe they were like thinking more about like all those different uses and the fact that it's an electric kettle, like it is a better value than like less educated. I don't know. You could conjecture.
That's for you to decipher, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we only did female, so this makes sense here. Income range. We could see if there's a difference by pet owners. Where was that crypto? Not a huge discrepancy by crypto.
Well, Justin, we may not necessarily have enough time to wait for all these other ones to come in.
We can't wait for Germany to wake up.
Yeah. So there's your first rule. Make sure check the time zones. Oh. We got a lot more now.
They're up late.
Yeah.
It must be.
Well, I guess it is a Friday night.
Yeah, exactly.
That is true. So very cool. So just explain real quick again, Justin, on each of the polls, what we did and just kind of a sample of the results we're seeing. So on this one with the Germany one, we were looking for a star rating, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah.
And so
star
far,
rating and open-ended feedback.
And so far, what are we at? Is that say 3.7?
Yeah, 3.7 rating
out of 15 votes.
Out of 15 votes against the German respondents. Yep.
Very cool. So that was a star rating. Go to the next one, and we'll kind of see some results on that one also.
Yeah. So this was kind of a crowdsourced listing audit, is what we call it. And so just asking people, we were asking prime tea drinkers to surface any questions or concerns that they had about this listing.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
And we're already getting results on that one.
Yep.
And the other one was our comparison one. Is that?
So we had a typo one. Yep.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of people catch a removable.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Very cool.
And then this one, this one was the mock-up with the mega targeting and the crypto people. So testing out hypothetical changes. Another best practice that we have seen from customers is actually testing products that you're not even selling yet in this manner. So like maybe you want to get into tea kettles because it's on your list of things to explore. You could grab like your concept or talk to your supplier and get an image and construct the offering that you're going to have. Like, okay, I'm going to use this title. I'm going to go out with this price. Probably going to start with 10 ratings, and I'm going to go up against these incumbents. Like, do I have a chance? Is my value proposition going to make a dent? And, at what price point do I need to go out at to make a dent? And if it's not compelling, then don't even go after that product, right? We all have a million product ideas. Like, there's no point in sinking like $50,000 into these teapots if like you're not even going to make a dent into the category leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it because I want to be able to have everybody kind of know where to go and how to get a hold of you.
Sure.
Here we're going to kick back out into the
Yep.
There we go. And so Justin, tell everybody a little bit, just a quick background about PickFu. How do they get a hold of you? And go from there.
Yeah, sure. So we're PickFu. We're a virtual company. We're here to bring consumer research to the masses. So we're very consumer driven, very technology driven at building the best solution for you. So you can visit us at pickfu.com, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm relatively active on LinkedIn compared to the other social networks. If you ever have questions about running your first poll, definitely reach out on our live chat. We have an entire customer success team that will either consult with you on live chat or hop on a free call to strategize about your product on what kind of poll should I run, what's the question I should ask, and just kind of give you that confidence to run it. Because I know a lot of people have hesitations about like, am I wording this right? Like if I'm trying to figure this out, like what kind of test should I run? Just don't hesitate. Just reach out to us and we'll help you out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It was great to see kind of the back end. Obviously, I knew about PickFu, right? And I knew what y'all did, but actually seeing all the different levers that you can pull and all the different data that you get. And I love the example you said of instead of like sending it to your coworker and being sure that it looks right. I've given Emma the title of associate, what did I give? Oh, associate creative director, Rob, by the way, because I send her everything before I send it to you.
Nice.
But awesome. Thank you so much.
Part of the backstory was that we created it because our friends and family just stopped being useful.
Yeah.
And I'm sure every entrepreneur can associate it with like, you keep sending your friends and family stuff and they're like, that's awesome, man. You're gonna kill it.
Yeah, they're just like, you're gonna do so good.
You're so smart. Like you're gonna rock it. And then like it fails.
Absolutely.
Like, you guys suck.
Yeah, man. I remember having when I was up to about 12 or 14 employees in the office, I literally was doing polls in the office for different things. So great information, Justin. I love the AI integration. I'm going to definitely be looking forward to that. Have to have you on later in the year when I get done with the book and stuff and when we go to publish it, or hopefully it's done by the end of the year, but got a ways to go on that. But definitely I'm going to be using PickFu. I'm going to be giving a shout out to those guys. I'll probably actually have Justin or John over there help me with some of it to make sure we do it correctly and it highlights everything. And thank you for coming on. Show us what you got. You definitely showed us what you got. I'll tell you that.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks you, Justin. And thank you everybody for tuning in. We will see you on the next one.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Sellernomics podcast. Special thanks to our sponsor, GETIDA. Did you know that Amazon probably owes you money for FBA reimbursements? Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at GETIDA.com/Sellernomics. Be sure to join us again next week for more great tips on how to grow your business. And thanks again for listening.